Let me introduce the reason why we're here. So thank you to Darren Hare and Lee Worgan from the management team, our gaffer Andy Hessenthaler and Chairman Jim Parmenter. Thank you ever so much for coming. Please give them a warm round of applause.
For Andy and Jim, really. How do you, I'd like to know how you actually go about finding these players. Is it via agents? Is it via a circular from the clubs? Is it because you know the players? I mean, there's an interesting one there where you signed for Parmenter. How did you come to find out about him?
Yeah, it's a good question. From what you've said about agents and different people that we've spoken to, it's all part of that. You know, I think agents can be a pain in the backside. I've got to say, they can. And I'm sure the chairman backs that. But we need them in the game because they've got players and we can go through that. In terms of the lad from Farnborough, people that we know in the game, I had a phone call about the lad, tipped off about the lad. He's got a real good opportunity to step up. And it was one that we felt that there is a slight risk to it. We don't actually know. I've seen videos of him, not seen him live, but that's the sort of player that I feel that could go on and do really well for the football club. So he's still only a young lad. He's come from a decent background. But yeah, I mean, recruitment-wise, we've got a lot of people in the game, a lot of contacts in terms of who we speak to. But agents do come into it as well. And we've certainly done our business quite quickly, as you've all seen. But that's something I wanted to do because I wanted to come in today, which is the first day of training, with a group of players that we could work from day one instead of waiting around for the next few weeks to see what we could get in. And we identified what we needed to do. And I feel that I'm excited. Looking at the boys today, the balance of the squad is looking really good. So we're happy. We're happy with today and looking forward to the start.
The only question I got really is purely and simply have we got a training ground up and running now?
We certainly have. To be fair to the chairman, he's done fantastic. I was saying I stipulated when I come back to the club that if we're going to go full time, that's so important to us as a staff and us as players, that we get a base that we can work from. And we've been able to get a place called Case Sports, which is up at Alsford, which is good in terms of players that haven't got to, especially the London-based players, it helps them. To actually train down in Dover, we would always find that difficult to attract players because of the distance. So in terms of our training ground, we've got all the facilities we need. So again, credit to the chairman, really. He's pushed out and got us that, and we started there today, which is fantastic.
Andy, I've tried to keep tabs with the comings and goings of the playing staff. Can you tell me what is the situation regarding Jamie Allen? Is he a Dover player for next year, or has he moved on to Pastures Green?
No, Jamie's still with us. We had an option on Jamie, his contract-wise, so we've taken that option up. So he's here with us next season. That's the situation. He was under contract. It was part of the deal. So Jamie's with us next year, which gives me 4 very good strikers. We brought in the lad Stephen Reed from Gateshead. Jamie's here, and he'll be here for next season and pushing for a place.
Good evening, gentlemen. Between the 4 of you, would you like to sort of enlighten us as to what inspired you to bring the players that we've seen signed so far, just to get some idea of what they're about to you?
To be fair, we moved quickly, as you know, and went through what we needed, what we felt we needed. We wasn't sure. Well, first of all, we had to decide what we was going to let go, and we certainly let a lot of players go. We wanted to keep I'm sure, again, you know that we wanted to keep our captain. We can go on to that. We wanted to keep Mitch, and he's left the football club, which is a blow to me and my coaching staff, because he was excellent. And I'm sure it's a blow to you guys as a supporters to see what he's done for the football club. But, again, going back to what I said in the press, we did everything we could do as a football club, the chairman, to keep him at his football club. We was talking of him going back up north because of his family, and his wife comes from up north. That didn't materialise, and he's ended up signing for Dagenham, which is, again, is a bit of a blow. It's a blow for us, but we just couldn't compete with that. I mean, I'm not going to, I won't go into details, but we just couldn't compete what with Dagenham have offered Mitch, and he goes with my best wishes because I love him. I think he's a great lad. He was excellent for me. He was excellent for the football club. But he's done it for his family and himself, and he's moved on. And you know, again, we can't do too much about that, and we wish him well. Going through the players that we brought in, you know, I've diverted a little bit, but we felt what we needed for this football club, and what I needed is my philosophy and the management team as a philosophy is that as a group of players, and I think every player that we brought in, the one thing I do and my coaching staff do is we meet the players, we make sure that they're right for this football club, and and you get the right feel, and we do our homework on them, you know, go to London and meet them, and go wherever you can to meet these players to make sure they're right for what we feel that we need. And I think I spoke about the young lad from Parmenter. It's a little bit of a gamble, but is it a gamble? He's a young kid, and I think he could go on and really be a big player for us. But the rest of the players that we brought in have got very good pedigree at this level, and you know, so we've done our homework, and I think they're right characters for the way I want to do things next season. So I hope that answers your question, Mal.
Brilliant. Thank you.
When we get promoted next season, what if any are the financial implications for the football club, and are we ready to meet them?
The financial implications are probably a lot bigger for me than they are for the football club. Obviously, when you get promoted, it's quite a big prize. I mean, the TV money that's available even in Division 2 makes a big difference to how you can manage your football club. You've got to bear in mind that there are clubs in this league now with £2 million playing budgets. Not us, I hasten to add, but there are clubs in this league with £2 million playing budgets, and essentially that has to be financed by the club. There's no big TV deals to provide any of that money. So once you move into the Football League, you start to get regular TV money, and even if you get relegated back down to the National League, you get, I think it's 850,000 quid over 2 years as a parachute payment. So there are clubs around that go up and down, and they're quite happy because they get £1 million quid in their back pocket every time they get relegated. So to answer your question, it's a lot easier to survive in Division 2. A lot of players in Division 2 earn less money than players in our division. Why? Because it's the Football League, and they're quite prepared to pay for less because they're ambitious and they want to get on. In our league, unfortunately, what we're finding now is that the players are being paid money which is unaffordable by most clubs in order to get. We saw one promoted last year with a £2 million plus playing budget, and that's very hard to compete with. It's much more of a level playing field once you get into the Football League, in a way.
Andy, in your when you brought Lee in, club Stoke, by the way, when you brought Lee in, you stated that he was here to be like a coach or to step in for Rich if he got injured or whatever. At the end of the season, obviously, Rich is now gone for whatever reason. And in your last statement, you said that you couldn't afford to have two first-team goalkeepers in the club. What's the reason for that? You know, Rich is now gone. In the original statement, you did mention about having two keepers in the club anyway. So,
the lad we brought in is a lot cheaper. Here's your answer. He's a good keeper. He's a good keeper. Listen, we brought him in, and he is cheaper. And then we've got obviously Lee, who's obviously a goalkeeper coach, but a player coach, and he proved that last year when he came in. And listen, Mitch was fantastic for the football club. He had 7 years at the club. I loved him. We had an honest conversation. He didn't perhaps buy into how I wanted to do things. and I decided to make the change in that, and Lee came in. For me, it was fantastic with his experience that we needed in terms of where we were in the league. But yeah, now we brought a younger one, and he's definitely cheaper. So, but he's got good pedigree, the kid. You know, he's got a chance. But listen, I've given him the #1 shirt. Lee's not happy about that, but no, actually, I think
He's bigger as well.
yeah, he's massive. Yeah, he's massive. So it's competition. Obviously, you know, we've got the #1 shirt, but we've got pre-season to prove that he's good enough. But he's definitely balances it in terms of financials. So that's why we've done what we've done.
You just mentioned the pre-season friendlies. We've now got a squad of named players, which makes a change for us in past seasons. Is that squad going to be the only players that you will be using in those 9 pre-season friendlies?
No, we will we'll probably, for the first game, which is obviously a local Bears that we play them next Wednesday. It's more of a training game, but helping Bears out because they've been, I think it's their senior year, isn't it? So we've decided to go and play it, which is a little bit early for us, but we've done it for them. So there will be some names that you wouldn't have ever seen in terms of going into that game, because there always is trialists out there that you never know that might come along, and we'll have a look at them that might just spring out and be better than what we got, and then I might be tapping the chairman on the shoulder for a couple more. But I don't really want to go in. Like I said, I did want to work to that sort of 18, 19. We've got to 20 because I'm sure you've seen today that we've just taken young Marshall Ratton from our youth team, which he's done fantastic last year, and he deserves a pro contract. I'm really looking forward to working with him, and to have a homegrown player come through is phenomenal for the club for me. So it's great that we've got Marshall. Looking forward, and credit to the youth section, to Mike Salmon, who works with the youth section to bring him through. We see it last year, and so he'll be involved in a lot of pre-season games as well. So yeah, there will be some names that you probably wouldn't have known, but that'll be the early stages, and then as we go further into pre-season, it'll pretty much be the squad.
I noticed on the signings, no one's actually identified as a left back. Who proposes going to play at left back on the team?
Bobby Joe will play left back, believe it or not. Bobby Joe is Bobby Joe. We didn't play him at left back, but that often was obviously we had Josh DeBayo there. But for me, Bobby Joe is a left back. He's now identified as a left back. He come to me and said to me, "I think I'm a left back." He said, "I've played on the left wing and I've played in midfield, but actually, Gaffer, I think I'm a left back." And so I was delighted with that, because I think he actually could be a fantastic left back. Depending on how we play, we could play wing back. He's definitely a wing back. Again, will we change the way we play next year? Yeah, we might do with the players we've got in the team. We'll look at that in pre-season. We haven't got lots of cover there, but Oscar Goburn could slip in there if there was a problem. I've worked with Oscar obviously at Eastleigh. So yeah, at the moment he's given the number 3. He believes himself as a left back, and I think he had some good games last year at left back.
I noticed that in some of the games that he played, one of the few players to give passes from one side of the field to the other.
Sorry,
I noticed when he played in the midfield, he was one of the few players to pass from one side of the field to the other.
Yeah.
Open the game up.
Yeah, that's what he'll do as a wing back, because wing backs push and go into midfield, and they change play from one side of the pitch to the other. So that for me, he can do that. And also, even if it's a back 4, your modern day fullback now becomes a midfield player, becomes a wide player, because I think everyone watches football now, your fullback's getting on all the time. So I think he just needed a bit of identity. He needed to know a position. He was at Aldershot, he was at Bromley, and he never really found the right position. I wasn't sure if he was a left winger, a left midfield, or a left back. And for me, we've played him in a few positions, and he's done well. But I'll be really pleased in that left back role, and we'll go with him with that and see where we go with him.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Following on from the Bobby Joe Taylor question, it seems to be attacking winners wise, we've only seem to be in the destiny posted after Jeffrey looks like it's going elsewhere. Are we still in the market for attacking winners for a bit of width for the team?
Yeah, that's one area that we are working on. We're in negotiations with the player as we speak on the left-hand side. If we play with wing backs, then he will be able to do both. If we play with 4-4-2 or 4-3-3, he can do that. So we are in negotiations with the left-sided player because obviously AJ has moved on, and hopefully something might happen within the next few days on that one.
Now that Brundle's gone, but we need a new captain. Have you decided who the captain is? And secondly, how strong do you think the National League will be next season? Because Salford and Orient, decent budgets, get rid of Salford was probably a good thing. How strong do you think the league's going to be?
Good question on the captain. Done that this morning. Kevin Lockhart will be our captain next year. And our vice captain will be Michael Woods, who we brought in from Hartlepool, so he'll be our vice captain. As for the league, yes, it's going to be tough. It's another tough season for everybody. I mean, I think there's 10. Is there 10 ex-league teams in our division now? We looked at that. So yeah, I mean, as you say, the likes of Salford have come out of it. We've got Notts County have dropped down into it. A famed massive club, Notts County. To be in our league is exciting, and Notts County are coming to Dover next season. Well excited about that, So it doesn't get any easier. For me, it's exciting. I mean, we want to put up against these teams, and we've got a competitive budget. The chairman's been magnificent for me in terms of where we want to go. We've been able to do our business really early, and like I said earlier on, I'm really excited to get going now. We started today. I'm really looking forward to the season ahead. Listen, we all know how difficult it is. One team goes up, and the other, obviously you can fight for the playoffs, which, again, I want that to be changed, but it's not for me to change it. I think two should go up, and one, they need to rejig the structure of the leagues, but whether they'll do that and look at that, the chairman might tell you a bit more about that, but it's not getting any easier each year, it's going to be tough.
What was the reason Locko got the armband? Rather than anybody else, what was the reasoning behind that?
Just because I think he had a fantastic season last year when I came in. I was told that he wouldn't play too many games because he had a problem with his hip, and he didn't miss a game for me. And I thought his performances consistently were up there with the best, and I rewarded him with that. He's a great lad to work with. The boys respect him, and when I announced it this morning, the boys gave him a massive round of applause. So I'm over the moon for Kev. I think he's got a big season ahead of him.
Are we going to have a designated penalty taker this year? Because last year, Mitch Brundle was scoring for fun, and certain other players deemed it in their interest to snatch the ball off of him and take it. And I think it embarrassed everybody that was out there, to be honest.
Well, we've just signed 8 new players. Is it 8? Yeah. So I'll make the decisions over the next few weeks. Good answer. So I don't know what Michael Woods is like. He might be Goswick Open. I don't think Goswick Open's very good on penalties, but yeah, we'll have a penalty prize one day and we'll sort that out.
Excellent. Right, who's next? Any questions?
Ricky Miller was a great player for us. There's a lot of speculation. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation about Ricky Miller. Okay, he was brilliant for us. We all know about that. He's apparently people saying might leave Port Vale. Are you interested in Ricky Miller? Yes or no?
Ask Frank, the secretary. He's his best mate. It's funny because I saw it on Sky. I actually saw it on Sky Sports tonight that he's left Port Vale by mutual consent. Where that goes, I don't know. Do you like him? I've run out of budget.
Yeah, you've run out of budget. Yeah, it might be a question for Jim or Andy, not really sure. With obviously all the development that's gone on around the club and the pitch and the standing and stuff, and the investment that's gone on this season with all the new players, what targets, Jim, have you set Andy for this season or the next 3 seasons, etc.? Am I talking to you? Sorry, hi. What targets have I set? I haven't set any targets other than we expect to give our all, make sure that everybody's on it, and try and succeed in every game. I think it's rather counterproductive, as I've learned over the years, to make statements like we'll be in the National League or the conference as it was then in 2 years, and it takes you 4 years and you get a lot of criticism for that. So, as Mark Winter will be able to tell you, is he here tonight? No, we don't set any specific targets. We're in it to win it, as I've said many times. Right, we're in it to win it. If you're not intending to win the league, then don't play in the league. But we're also realistic. We know that we are up against massive clubs, and we'll do it our way, and we'll do it in a special way. We can't afford to go out there and pay the big money. But what we can try and do is get the right management team, which we've got, and then we try and look at the characters of the players. We've had that discussion this morning. You know, what we want is players who are hungry and want to do it for the football club. And yeah, money's important to them, but we don't want the only conversation with players to be about money. And sometimes that happens. So it's about getting the right characters in the club. And you guys have got a massive part to play. You know, we need to get the atmosphere rocking again at Crabble. We need to get it noisy. We need to get more people through the gates, and we need to get behind the team, because that will help us to try and get into the playoffs at the very least. But it's up to all of us. It's the management, it's the players, but importantly it's you guys as well. And you have to play your part. If you don't, what we do is sort of pales into insignificance. So that's the message I would give you guys and anybody else that's coming to watch us. We need you behind us. We need plenty of noise, and we need positivity from the terraces. That's what will help us get to the top.
Follows on from what you just said, actually. The ticket price on the day's gone up by £1 this year, and I think most of the Dover fans will probably agree that that was fair enough, particularly as it's not gone up for a number of years, and I'm sure the board have held off doing that for as long as they possibly can. Are you concerned that it might have an impact on the crowds, and particularly without wanting to get too ahead of ourselves, going up to the Football League, we're probably looking at £20 plus. Do you think that Dover can sustain that?
Yes, I do. I think that providing what we're doing on the pitch is the right product and we're entertaining people, then I think it's sustainable. You know, I think it's worth mentioning that in this football club, a match gate receipt pays for less than half of 1 week's wages. That's without the rest of the running costs of the club, and that's once every fortnight. So that gives you an idea of how important even a small increase in the gate money is. You know, costs are going up all the time. It's getting harder to compete in this league, which is costing more money. It's inevitable that some of that will have to be passed on to the supporters in a small way, but the vast majority of the increase in costs is not passed on and hasn't been for a few years. But I think what we've done this year is modest and reasonable, providing that we're providing a good quality of entertainment on the field.
Following on from that last conversation, really, with regards to season tickets, how are sales going at this moment in time? And secondly, it's been asked many times before, Dover's a town of many shift workers down at the port. It has been mooted before, or asked on the supporters forum, about a part season ticket, say 10 games for a set fee. And for some reason that's never happened, but I think that's the club are missing a trick there, where they could make some extra money, extra revenue through a 10, 15 game season ticket, but it's never been implemented.
Okay, sorry, what was the first part of that question?
How are season tickets?
Okay, season tickets are going really well. We're ahead of last year, and what we're seeing is a lot of people who missed the year last year are coming back to us, as well as selling new tickets. So I think we've got the momentum going quite well with that. In terms of the part season ticket, we've looked at that many times. It's an idea that we like. The problem with it is the administration of it and the infrastructure cost of actually putting something in to manage it. And if we can solve that electronically, and we're kind of working on a few things. I think Steve will see credit card payments at the turnstiles this year. Is that right? So all the turnstiles will have credit card facilities on them this year. That's kind of a first step towards being able to manage better these types of offers. And it's not that we don't want to do it, but when we do it, we want to be able to manage it properly. So it's something definitely on the radar.
Evening. Going back to the characteristics of the players, we've had players in the past that have probably just been here a year, gone on to better things, or they think of better things. You're saying you've got a selection of good players. Have we got the characters that are going to warm to us and we're warm to them?
They're the characters that we've got into the club.
Yeah, I mean, we've had players over the past that some of their teammates have actually had to ask them or persuade them to go and acknowledge the crowd. They might have had a bad game, and we understand that. But do you think you've got the characters this year that we're going to warm to?
I believe so, you know, and the one thing, if you know, I work on each character, I work not about the football, about the person. When you sign a player, it's about the person, not about whether he can play, you know, do a step over or can do this or can make a tackle. I mean, we work on the person himself, and I look at that, his character, because that's how we need to be. I mean, and for me, that's what I've got. If they're not, I'll educate them. I'll make sure that they come and warm to you guys. They come to you and they clap you at the end of the game, because you deserve to be clapped, you know. So if they're not doing that, then that comes down to me and my coaching side to make sure we educate these players. But I feel that we have got the right characters. What I brought in, I've worked with a few before. There's a few that I haven't worked with, but my other staff have worked with. You know, we've got winners, the ones that we've signed the winners. I spoke to a lad today that we haven't signed, but he was a breath of fresh air. You know, we may sign him, but he was an absolute breath of fresh air, the lad, you know, and they're the sort of players we want. And when it comes to you guys, you're massive to us, you know, you're important to us. And, you know, there's one thing I don't like, is players just, well, if we've lost the game, you know, we're going to lose games. You've got to acknowledge the fans, because you travel around the country, you support us, and if they're not doing that, again, it comes from me and my coaches, so to make sure we do that.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to that. Can everyone hear me all right? Yeah. So look, what we've done, when we thought about our recruitment process this year, what we thought about in the first instance was, you know, what's our identity? Identity as a football club, you know, where we are as a management team. And what sort of players are going to fit into that? Okay, so that's also took into account, you know, our tactics, our style of play, how we want to play. So, you know, we've recruited players that are hungry, athletic, hard-working, all the things that Hesse was as a player and Hesse is as a manager. You know, that cascades down onto all of us as a management staff. So in the first instance, that's what you'll see on the pitch. You know, they'll make mistakes. All players do, but it won't because they don't care, it'll because, you know, that just happens in games. But what I can guarantee you is that our values and our beliefs as a management team, that is firmly implanted into this group of players. And you know, you probably saw that towards the end of last season. You know, we worked our socks off in games. We lost some of them, but we worked our socks off, and that will continue. So. That's been the bread and butter really around our recruitment, and every player that we brought in understands and will know what we expect of them when they walk out on the turf.
Darren Hare is a lovely family game as well with my grandchildren, and we thoroughly enjoy it. Jim, therefore, could you consider, when talking about ticket prices, consider a family ticket?
We have considered, and we did used to sell family tickets. I mean, unfortunately, we sold very few of them, and again, it became an administrative problem. But you know, the under-11s now are free. If you have a family ticket, then that normally means some sort of cost throughout the under-11s. Again, it's something, if there's a demand for it, we will consider. But when we did it before, I think we sold about 3. So
it bring more women to the game and supporting their sons.
Yeah, maybe we should think about that. Maybe we should have more ladies' days. You know, we've done that before, so yeah, it's something we should think about, definitely.
And actually, Andy's supporters are fantastic in their singing. that language sometimes in the songs isn't very good to youngsters. I would like to cover their ears at times. But is there any way we could address that at all?
I'm not sure. It's a difficult,
It is a difficult situation. We've got the family stand, and the stewards in the family stand are briefed to make sure that the behaviour is appropriate for the family in the family stand. We're very hot on certain things, which we, you know, homophobia and all those types of things, racism. Unfortunately, language is a part of the game on the terraces, and you have to be very careful how you try and control that, and if you can control that. We don't like to hear it. There's certain things which are out of, unreasonable, and we do try and get our stewards to deal with that. But unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, it is a part of the game, and you're never going to completely eradicate the language on the terraces. But we do try and keep a lid on anything which is extreme. Okay.
This one's to you, Jim. In the previous seasons, we were averaging our gates by over 1,000 fans. But in the cup matches, the fans just don't turn up. Is there anything you can do to change that, like half the ticket prices at the gate, or are they set by the FA?
You talk about the FA Cup and the FA Trophy.
Yeah.
That's pretty standard in football now. I mean, even if you go up to, you know, you've got under 21s playing in some of the competitions, and you see reserve sides put out in the latter stages of the FA Cup by the Premier League sides. I think it's been addressed in some way by the FA, where they've doubled the prize money in the FA Cup, which has gone a long way. The FA Trophy's got to follow suit. Brian Barwick, who's our chairman of the National League, obviously I know quite well because I sit on that board. He's chairman of the cup competition for the FA Trophy, and I believe that there's a move in the FA to also increase the prize money. Hopefully that will bring more interest into it. But I think it's the attitude of those cup competitions from the senior clubs, Premier League, Championship, that sort of filters down in the crowds. Supporters think, well, it's not that important. Football doesn't take the competition that seriously, and I think that's the problem. There's not much we can do about it as a club. I mean, I'm sure if we got Crystal Palace at home again, we'd fill the stadium again. You know, it just depends. It has to be a big game, I think, to get a crowd out in a cup competition these days. Not much we can do on our own, I don't think.
I've got a question for Lee, sort of three questions. How are you finding coaching?
I'll drop it.
What? Lee, how are you finding the coaching side of things? What have you learned from Andy and from Darren? And little follow-up question: do you see football management on the horizon for you at some point?
No, I'm really enjoying the coaching. I think it was a step that I felt I was going to take and needed to as I'm getting older. And you know, this football club, the chairman, the gaffer, and Darren gave me a brilliant opportunity to sort of take that step in my career. And from day one, since I've come through the door, working with these guys has been really eye-opening. It's in many ways. It's very knowledgeable. So in such a short space of time, I've learned a lot. And in terms of football management, I'm not really sure about that one, if I've got to be honest.
You mentioned you've got a squad of 21, 22 or something like that, and you're looking at other players. Could players who are in the squad at the moment be moving on before the start of the season, players who are contracted, etc.?
Typical journalist exaggeration. I think Andy said 19 or 20, not 21 or 22. I'll pass it on to
Yeah, we've got 20 with young Marshall now, so no, because that's what I want to work with. You know, but there's competition for places. You can't keep every player happy. You know, so come August the 3rd, our first game. August the 3rd, yeah, August the 3rd. You know, there's going to be some disappointed players, but not as many. You know, so I don't see any players moving on unless they've got a problem in terms of training and where we want to go with the football club. I haven't had any of the players that have contracted. Obviously, the new ones we brought in, they're not having problems. We just brought them in. But the ones that are obviously we had from last year, it's only day one. You know, if they're not happy, if players are not happy at the football club, then there's no point in being at a football club. That's how I see it. So I think with what we brought in, these players that were here last year will be excited, and hopefully we can keep everybody together. But like I say, we've got to have players that want to be here and want to play for the football club.
All your targets you've got in, the players you brought in, is there players know about Ipswich's problems? Were there players you were in for them, and players you spoke to who didn't come in the end?
We did speak to one Ipswich player, but he kept having an R in and he went somewhere else. So, you know, we spoke to a number of targets over the pretty much May. When the season finished, we was pretty much on it. So, I think every player, listen, I'm still getting phone calls from agents now, and it's quite an easy conversation with me now. You know, I've done the squad, you know, so other than that, perhaps that left-hand side that we've talked about. But, you know, we had a few knockbacks as well. But we've got a budget. The chairman's, like I said, very competitive budget in terms of for us next season. We're in it to win it, as the chairman's already said. And I'm happy what we built there, and I'm sure you guys will be happy come August the 3rd or full pre-season when you see the lads. And as a group, as a management team and the chairman, we were really excited going forward. And we were good last year. We finished, I think we was 26 games, was it? I think we ended up top of the form guide, or joint top of the form guide. We've got to carry that on now. You know, we can't rest on that. Great, we stayed up, fantastic. We got to carry it on from the 3rd of August. So there's loads of players out there. They keep coming. But like I said, I've got a good group of players, a good balance to the squad. We've got competition for places, and we've got a few youngsters in the squad as well, which is really healthy as well.
That's for Andy, really. Having been at Eastleigh before you came here, was there any interest in either signing Paul McCullum, who's gone to Solihull Moors, because he's quite a good player?
There was always been interested in Paul. I was able to get him. Well, at the time we got to Eastleigh through Richard Hill, was the manager at the time, and I was assistant. But I worked with Paul at Orient, and knew he could score goals at this level. No, you know, listen, we never really even got a conversation about it because I knew that he was going elsewhere. I'm a bit surprised that he's gone where he's gone, I've got to say, because I thought he would have gone in the league, the amount of goals he scored. But again, it just shows you what money does. And Solihull, you know, I know what deal he's on there, and I won't go into it. But you know, he's got a Solihull, and you know, it'll be very good for them. They get a lot of balls in the box from back to front, as we know from last season when we played them. And they'll get a lot of opportunities, and you know. But listen, if he was on the radar, but he would have been out of our reach, unfortunately.
Is there any more particular positions you're looking at with potential signings?
Well, just that left-hand side really is because we're the balance of that more so. We've got Ricky out on the right. As I said, we've got the 4 strikers. We've got young Marshall that we brought in. Obviously, as come out today. Is he ready yet? We don't know, but he's going to get an opportunity in pre-season because this is a big step up for him. So yeah, that's an area that we perhaps need to go. We've got a good amount of midfield players, as everybody's saying. Good competition. We've got to have competition for places. So the balance and defenders. I suppose the only area that we're probably a little bit light is the left back. Like that gentleman said there with Bobby Joe, if he got an injury, but again, Oscar Goldberg could slot into that area. So the left-hand side is somewhere we're looking at the moment.
Just to follow on about that, you know, question of the striker, are you happy with Inyefian?
I didn't sign him, but yeah, when I first came into the club, I'm sure you guys will all of a sudden he started to wake up a little bit, didn't he? When we first came in, he started scoring goals, and then at Christmas it died off. So again, as a management team, that's for me and my staff to get more out of him. And you know, I've given him the number 9 shirt this year. Psychologically, will that work? It's a big year for him. He's a frustrating player at times, as you've already seen, but working with him day in, day out. He hasn't worked with me from the start of the season, so let's see where we go with Vinny. You know, we've got 4 very good strikers. We've taken a lad from Gateshead. As you know, last year Gateshead had a very good season under very difficult circumstances. And the lad that we brought in played very well against us last season here, and he's exciting. So we've got 4 good strikers. Competition, Alfie's there as well. Alfie's having his first real pre-season, full-time training. He was getting strong as the season went along. So, but yeah, listen, it's up for grabs, isn't it? It's up for grabs.
I just wanted to mention Innie. Yeah, frustrating player, and I know the comments are on, but do you know what? He was still our leading goal scorer last year. He was 16 goals. So, you know, he can't be all bad. And I'm sure under Andy and his team he'll improve. And Andy's given him the number 9 shirt. So I guess what we really need to do, and you guys need to do, is get behind him, right? Because he is capable, and I think he'll have a good season.
As well. I think what a lot of supporters don't see, and I've had it and been part of it in previous clubs, is what a player brings off the field. And he's such a big character, he's brilliant around the place, he integrates all the boys so well. So I think sometimes as well, if you understand that side of what he brings, then you might sort of see why he's such a big part of our club.
And you look fit today.
He did look very fit, well ahead of me in the running.
I'd have been ahead of you in a run.
Again, not going on too much about any, but I work with a very good manager, and he's gone on to have a good career, Tony Pulis. And I played for a striker called Bob Taylor, who played for Gillingham. When he first came in Brentford, he was overweight. He couldn't get around the pitch, never looked like he was going to score. But Tony, every time we played a game at home, he got man of the match. Because Tony chose him to be man of the match. He was never man of the match. Never. Always. But he played with man of the match pretty much week in, week out. When everyone was looking at the fans, you know, Tony chose him, he was a manager. What is that? In the end, we sold him to Man City. So say thanks for coming. He said, we're not going. Come and talk to us now, no problem. It's great to see you come out and you know, attend this event, because it's always nice to engage with the fans. I know that gentleman there has got his opinion. It's great. There's no problem. That's what it's about. You know, football's about opinions. I've been in the game a long time. You know, so there's no problem with that. There's no great that he's asked a question. Again, no problem with me on that. And I'll work with Innie, and we'll work with Innie, and we'll have a full season out, and hopefully we can get the best out of it. You know, and that's what we'll do. But it's great that you've come out tonight, because we need you guys. You've been fantastic. You know, I've been in the club before, as we know, back in the time, and you know, that went a little bit where it did, but this is a fantastic football club. We're now a full-time football club. Would you have thought that a few years back, that this club would be a full-time? Getting credit to the chairman. We've got every chance to go on to big things, and we will do that everything we can, but we need you guys, so it's great you're here tonight. Thanks for coming. Keep supporting us. We'll hopefully keep delivering for you guys. And hopefully it'll be another very good season, but thank you very much.
Just to carry on from what Andy's saying, and some of the points that have been made, yeah, it's fantastic to see so many people here tonight, and I hope that's reflected in the gates that we get going forward in the season. But it really is important, and I really believe this. It's great to have your opinions, and it's great to discuss things around the bars and the ground. Right? What the club doesn't need, and what will hold us back, is if we start not all being together, regardless of what's happening on the field, get behind the team. If we're all together and we're all supporting, it will go right. If we start complaining and booing players or criticising players too loudly, that will only have a negative effect on what we do as a club and as a team. So everybody, please, let's get behind the club this season and really try and win it.